the time of year when the grocery stores start getting rid of and clearancing out all of the overstock that they have ordered for the holiday season. And this is the time of year that I start stocking the grocery store for frozen fresh cranberries. This year I hit the jackpot and they had several bags left and they were on clearance for 50 cents a bag. I cannot even pass up a deal that good, and I bought everything that they still had in the grocery store. And I think it ended up being like 15 bags of cranberries, and I'm going to share with you why I love to buy the cranberries, the fresh frozen cranberries at the end of the year. So obviously the first reason is because it is so dirt cheap and I love a deal. But the other reason is because I don't buy juice in the grocery store. We don't do juice a lot at our house. I don't like the added expense. I don't like to deal with the garbage when you buy it from the store. And I don't like that I don't have the control over the amount of sugar that's in juice. But when you buy fresh frozen cranberries, you can actually turn it into cranberry juice concentrate that you can then can and have on hand on the homestead, and as you need it, you can use it and add whatever amount of sugar that you want to. So today I'm going to be doing just that. I'm going to be turning all of these cranberries into cranberry juice concentrate, and then I'm going to can it in a water bath canner so that I can have it on the homestead for a year or more, depending on how quickly we drink it up. Does it sound complicated to make your own cranberry juice concentrate? You're going to be pretty surprised at really how easy it is. And I love bringing topics to you guys that I know might seem overwhelming at first, but then breaking it down for you just to show you how very easy it is. It's been a whole year since I've done this and we are out of it in our pantry. So let's get started. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up all these bags of cranberries and pour them into a big pot. I hope my pot is big enough for all these cranberries. Otherwise, I'll just have to do them in 2 separate batches. Cranberries are just a beautiful color, and this juice concentrate is going to be equally as gorgeous. I was able to fit 11 bags of the cranberries in this one pot. That's $5.50 that I have invested in this juice that I'm making. Let's see how much that creates for the homestead, see how far it will get for us for the year. The next step is equally as easy. We just need to fill this pot up with water just until it gets to the level of the top of the cranberries. We just need to heat these on high. It's going to take quite a bit because they are frozen. We need to heat this up until the cranberries start to burst open. And once we get to that part, I'll make sure to show you what that looks like. When I first put them on the stove, they had frozen into this giant ice block. Now all of that ice has melted. It's not boiling in there yet, but you can see that some of the juice is actually starting to come out of some of the cranberries and mix with the water. That's what we want. Those cranberries aren't super juicy inside like you would think of a grape. All of that flavor is trapped inside their flesh, which is really kind of, I guess, on the dry side. So the water is going to kind of infiltrate all of that flesh inside of there and draw out all of those good vitamins and all that wonderful flavor. Once the liquid gets hot enough, the cranberries themselves will actually start to like burst open, and sometimes you can see it, sometimes you can hear it. It's pretty interesting, but once all of those have burst open and allowed to mix with that water, it'll turn into a really wonderful, flavorful cranberry juice concentrate. It smells so good. I can hear some of the cranberries starting to burst. I hope I can get some good footage for you to show you what it looks like. So this one has split open in half. So that's what you're listening for and looking for. You're looking for these to be popping. So they end up getting kind of mashed up, kind of like that, you see? The insides are mushy. So you want that to be mixing in with all of this water. Tastes good already. I mean, it is sour, don't get me wrong. This is gonna be wonderful. So in the end, what we're looking for here is for all the cranberries to be popped, all of them to be mushy, and all of them to be combining with all of that water. We have a ways to go. So it looks like about 99% of the cranberries have popped and everything is boiling. So I'm gonna turn off the heat and it's now time for us to strain the liquid away from all of the pulp. So the next step is to strain all of this pulp. I'm just gonna use a sieve and a pot. And I'm gonna strain it through a cotton towel that I have moistened with water, so it's just damp. I actually have one of these cotton towels, like a tea towel, that I save because it's completely stained from other things like this that I do. And I just keep one or two of these around and just keep reusing them on things that are gonna stain. This is definitely gonna stain. So I just put the tea towel or the cotton towel or whatever over it, and I'm just gonna start ladling all of this concoction, mushy, liquidy concoction through this towel. It is a pretty thick substance, so it's probably going to take a while for it all to drain through. I might have to do this in batches because I don't have a giant strainer and I don't have another big pot like this one at the moment. So I ended up tying up this towel and hanging it from the cupboard. I'm hoping that this doesn't end up being a huge mistake and half my cupboard ends up pink. But we'll see how it goes. It was such a large volume that I was just really having a hard time getting it to go through the towel, through the strainer, into the pot, because the strainer ultimately it goes like too far down into my pot. And so I'm thinking maybe I can do the same thing with the rest of what's in my pot in a second location, so we'll see. Hopefully when Kevin comes in, he doesn't freak out and ask what the heck I'm doing. Hopefully he trusts me on this. So I figured out how to do it on this other cupboard too, and not only that, but Kevin did come in and saw these contraptions, and he didn't freak out, although he did say, "Oh, we're not gonna have pink cabinets, are we?" And I said, "No, of course not." So we're just gonna let this drip here. My canning book, which I'm gonna show you guys before we go, it says to have this drain for 2 hours. I may not have 2 hours, but I am going to let it drip for a while, and then I'm gonna cheat, and I'm gonna squeeze some of this so it comes out faster. I'm saving all of the cranberry pulp in this bowl because I have another fun canning project I'm going to be doing with it another day soon, in the next day or so. So all of this will go in the refrigerator until I can get to it. So all the pulp from inside these towels needs to get back in here, which is kind of a messy process. Even if it doesn't come out, that's kind of pretty. Natural tie-dye. is we need to heat this back up. We need to heat it to 190 degrees. We can't let it come to a boil, so we need to watch it. Once it gets to 190 degrees, we need to turn down the heat and let it sit at 190 degrees for 5 minutes. And after that, we can start the canning process. In the meantime, I'm gonna get my water bath canner set up, full of hot water, turn it on so that it's gonna be ready as soon as it's time for me to start putting the juice concentrate in the jars. I always put a little bit of vinegar in my canning water so that I don't have to worry about much cleanup on the jars. Keeps the outside of the jars really nice and clean. The cranberry juice concentrate is all set and we can get started canning. Now, I really have no idea how much this is going to produce, so I got ready 12 pint jars. Now, I can these in pint jars because generally I will make a batch of juice that's a ½ gallon, and 1 pint jar of juice concentrate for us is perfect for a ½ gallon jar. When you're canning this cranberry juice concentrate, you want to fill the jars up and leave 1/4 of an inch head space at the top of the jar. I'm just using a canning funnel, which makes things a little bit easier, makes things splash less and drip less. Now these jars are also hot. You want to start with hot jars. I'm using one of my measuring tools to make sure that it is 1/4 inch from the top, and it is, and I'm going to wipe off the rim and put the lid on. Now the new lids this year have a different formula that don't require you to warm them up before you put them on the jars. They also will allow the contents of your jars to be good for 18 months according to them. They used to say 12 months, now they say 18 months. It's up to you whether or not you want to push that limit, but generally I can things that will last for 1 year or 1.5 years. By that time they're all gone on our homestead, so I don't really have to worry about long-term storage issues. Check that it is 1/4 of an inch from the top. Wipe off the rim. Add a lid and a ring. And we're going to put these two in the canning pot. Well, they're all in there, and now we're going to keep the heat on high, and once it begins to boil inside of there, I will set a timer. Now, the pint jars or the quart jars need to process for 15 minutes. However, because we are over 1,000 feet above sea level, I'm going to add another 5 minutes, so we will be processing ours for 20 minutes. After that, I will open the lid and turn the heat off for 5 minutes before taking them out of the canning pot. Of the frozen fresh cranberries, ended up making almost 10 pints of the cranberry juice concentrate. The one that is almost filled, I'm actually going to use tonight to make a batch of homemade cranberry juice for you guys so we can taste it and make sure that it's just as wonderful as I had remembered. I want to quick share with you my very, very favorite canning book. I've shared it on a lot of my other canning videos, and it is actually the Ball Complete Book of Home Preserving. This has so many recipes and they're so fantastic, and it has good instructions on how to water bath can and how to pressure can. So if you are interested in learning more about this and one other canning book that I recommend, you can check that out in our Amazon shop to learn more. Now, I have 1 pint that didn't quite get filled up to the top, so I'm actually going to use that tonight to make cranberry juice. So, 1 pint-ish of the cranberry juice concentrate, I'm just going to put it in a ½ gallon mason jar. That's generally what we use around here. And if I remember correctly, the last time I made this, I used 1/2 cup of sugar, but it ended up too sweet for our family. So today I'm going to use 1/3 cup of sugar to add into that. I feel pretty proud that our family isn't really into super high sugary beverages, or really anything for that matter. They don't like Kool-Aid, and we don't make super sugary lemonade. So I'm just gonna mix this up, the sugar in this concentrate. Right now the concentrate is warm. It won't happen like that when I take it off the shelf. I'm gonna fill this up with cold water and we'll have a taste. Isn't this the most gorgeous color? Wow. Okay, so let's see how it is. Oh, it's so good. The amount of sugar is perfect. So this is pretty awesome. And if you remember back to the beginning of the video, I said that really I have $5.50 invested in all of this. 55 cents per batch. You can't even touch those prices with grocery store juice. So not only is this easy, is it healthier than grocery store, you can choose how much sugar you put in it, but you guys, it's so much less expensive than buying juice at the store. If you enjoyed this canning video, make sure to check out our playlist of the other canning videos that I have on our channel. I love to can. I love to teach you guys how to do it as well. You guys, if you enjoyed this video and if you are liking our channel, please go ahead and subscribe. We would love it. Don't forget to check us out on all of our social media, including Instagram. And until next time, thank you so much for stopping by the homestead. Take care and God bless.